Welcome back to the Colac Herald's finals edition of Game On. Kicking us off, Lou, we've got Colac Tigers versus St Mary's in the preliminary final. Last time these two teams played was back in round 8, so it's been a bit of time. But in that game, Colac got up 19-8, 122 to St Mary's 10-10, 70. What are we looking at on the injury front?
Yeah, well, Seb Ross, he hurt his hamstring in last week's second semi-final against St Joseph, so that's obviously going to be a big gap for Colac. It felt like he was kind of getting back to his best and being able to play a bit consistently, but it's obviously, I think it's his third or fourth hamstring for the year, so he'll be a big gap, but they should get a few back. Josh Garner should be back from that eye injury that he had at cricket training. He missed last week, and so did Tom Reynolds. He'll be back from, I think he was a bit crook last week, so he'll be slot back into that defence for the Tigers. But obviously Colac couldn't really get their game going at all last week, and they just didn't really look threatening against St Joseph's. But I think that's a positive in a way for the Tigers, because they only lost by 18 points, and to probably not play their best footy. I think if they can play their best, then they'll know that they can match it with any side in the comp this year. And any teams left in finals.
Finals, for sure. I mean, to your point, Lou, Mary's are quite a high scoring team, so you'd like to see the defensive pressure, I guess, ratchet up for the Tigers. Mary's have scored 210 or had scored 210 more points than any other team in the comp in the home and away season. So it's something definitely for the Tigers to game plan for. I'm sure Armstead and the boys will be all over that. But it'll be an interesting matchup, and hopefully they get through, give Seb Ross another week to hopefully get back and get ready for the granny.
Now to CDF now, it's grand final week. It's the big one. Alvie taking on Colac Imperials in the senior football grand final, and the two sides, there hasn't been really much between them. Only a couple of goals separating them. I think Alvie have won, and Imps won one during the home and away season, but it was the Swans that got the better of the Imps in the second semi-final. So, how do you think they can turn that around? What's going to be some key matchups, do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question, Lou. I think, starting off, I think everyone's going to be keeping an eye on the weather. It seems like it could be wet conditions on the day. Who actually knows with weather as these days? But, I think, if it is a wet, rainy day, potentially helps Alvie, more of a contested side, mucks up a game. Maybe they're able to play a similar game to the last time they met in finals. So that's definitely something to look out for on the day. Obviously, Imps love to run and carry. But even though conditions were better against Lawn, it was still really good to see the Imps get rolling with their game plan, especially in that second half with their running carry. What do you think about Alvie's kind of defence in this matchup?
Well, the Swans, they've got a great defence, and they looked really solid in that first game. But I suppose, looking at, I think that game, Imps just didn't have a big target up forward. Obviously, Ethan Strode, he's been injured, hasn't played a final, got injured in round 18, so he's kind of a wait and see. I think Bailey Scott said that they'll give him every chance to try and get up for this week with his ankle. But I suppose on the flip side of that, Alvie's attack's been quite great in finals, especially led by Dom Dare and Jesse Williamson. I think they've combined for, 13 goals across the two games. They've been super down there, which is obviously going to be a tough matchup for the Imps defence.
Definitely. And the Swans do have calls to make on the injury front. Obviously, Ben Eddy and Tom Smith are two to keep an eye on as the week goes on. They are expecting Glenn Strawn to return to the side. He's kicked 15 goals in the 5 games this season that he's been a part of, so that's a massive in to your point, Lou, about bolstering that strong Alvie attack. But again, I do wonder how much of it's going to come down to what can Alvie do in the midfield, specifically on Scott.
I suppose that's a big one, the midfield battle. I feel like we talk about Bailey Scott every week. He's obviously the premier player in the competition. Oscar Barrow, I spent a bit of time on him early in that second semi-final, but I don't know, it's just so hard to find someone that can run with Scott. He kicked 5 goals that game, and he really nearly kept him in that matchup. So it's just going to be such a tough matchup to play on someone of his calibre. That'd be a really interesting battle in the midfield. For sure. And what about tips? Who you kind of got for this one?
I think if Glenn Strawn's coming back, if the weather does get worse as the week goes on and we have a pretty rainy day, I find it hard to tip against Alvie just with what they're able to do in contested situations. I think I'm going to go Alvie on this again. Based on the matchups, it's only been a couple of goals in it every time, so I'm going to go Alvie by 2 goals.
I agree. I think it's going to be a Swans premiership this year. I feel like I thought the Imps coming into finals, I was really on them, and I was like, I thought they were going to be the team to beat. But after that second semi-final performance from the Swans, it really just showed that they are the real deal, and I think they're with Glenn Strawn, as you said, coming in, someone of his calibre, it's just going to make them an even stronger side. So I'm going to back the Swans in as well.
Okay. For the CDFNL Netball Grand Final, Imps again, this time against Irrewarra Biak. Round 9 and round 18 were the 2 times these teams played during the home and away season. Warra won both matchups. 6 goals in round 9, only the 1 goal in round 18 for the start finals. In both of those games, third quarters were the big killers, I guess, for the Imps. You know. They lost 34-22 in those 2 third quarters in those matches, but in both fourth quarters, the Imps did show resilience and an ability to fight their way back into the game and close the gap. The qualifying loss to Alvie for the Imps specifically, it did kind of kickstart the Cats. It feels like on this finals run. You know, they started slow in that match. I think they only scored 6 or 7 goals in the first quarter again. But since then, they've scored 17 goals and 16 goals against Irrewarra and then the rematch against Alvie. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of come up against the Bombers.
And the Bombers' attack, it's been really super consistent, led by Rachel Seabright, Jeremy Robinson down there, and no team's probably been able to really fully stop them when they've got going. They scored the second most amount of goals for the year, and they've actually conceded the least amount of Bombers. So that was in the home and away season, that is. So their defence is just as good as their attack, led by the likes of Grace Garner and Emmy Frith down there, and obviously another matchup. Bella Frith in wing defence. She's going to have a big game to play on Poppy Holland, who's the Colac Imperials wing attack. She usually provides Kiara Foster with lots of great feeds, so shutting that down will be pretty important for the Bombers, I'd say.
Definitely. I mean, if the Bombers are able to just stop any kind of feed into Kiara, obviously that's going to make a hell of a difference. It is quite interesting having watched the Cats through their finals run. Yes, they'd like to go through Poppy with their goal feeds. Eliza also is massive in that area, and Chloe Gray, especially last week, a bit more of a rotating goal circle, working out, helping out Kiara with those feeds as well. So they've got different avenues to get there. Speaking of Eliza, really interesting mid-court clash with Rhiannon White. Probably, I don't know, could you say it's the best centre matchup in the comp, potentially? You know, the experience of Rhiannon and Eliza's season's just been stellar. Something to watch out for sure.
And I think I've seen here the Bombers haven't lost for 3.5 months now. So their forms is very impressive. I'm guessing they'll be taking plenty of confidence into this week's grand final.
Definitely. So who are we tipping on this one?
I think it's hard to look past the Bombers. I think, as I just said, they haven't lost a game in 3 months, so that's hard to write off there. They obviously looked super strong in that win against Alvie to go straight through, won quite comfortably. So I think I'm going to go with the Bombers to get a bit of redemption from last year after losing the grand final to Alvie last year. I think they're going to bounce back and win a grand final this year.
It's a really good point. That I think something that we haven't mentioned in this is that finals experience. And they've been here, the grand final experience. Right? Like they've been here many times in the past 4 seasons. I can completely see why you're going with the Bombers. I don't know if I can. It's a hard one. I think I'm going to go Imps in the sense that you've got two teams from the club in grand finals. Surely one of them's got to bring it home. They've gone on a massive roll since losing to Alvie. Like just looked unstoppable. In the qualifying round. I'm gonna go Imps. I think it's gonna be really tight again. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes down to the wire last minute of the match. Overtime. Oh my god, imagine. I'll go Imps, and we'll see who's correct with the call. Thanks for watching. That's everything from Lou and myself. Good luck to everyone in grand finals this weekend. Hopefully the Colac Tigers can pull through, and we've got another grand final for next weekend. It'll be interesting to see how the weather holds up, and good luck once again.
Good on you, mate.
Good on you, buddy.